Hey, what's up guys? It's CL here, and today we're going through a text breakdown of how I flipped an interaction that was dying into something that was exciting and engaging. And remember, if you want to see more content just like this, do consider joining my Facebook group. Link is down in the description box below. Other than that, enjoy this video. So here the conversation starts after she has ghosted me. This is a Tinder match from Belgrade in Serbia, and the conversation up until this point hasn't been particularly fascinating. As you can see, she actually ghosted my previous message before. And basically, what I need to do now is to display some value and actually get her invested. At this point, I'm still just another Tinder match because I haven't done or said anything particularly exciting. So let's see how I DHV. Again, it means demonstration of high value. Keep in mind that your value is only as high as you have shown the girl. Right? The girl doesn't know how cool you are until you show her. So let's see how I go about it. So just start with some chit chat. Giovanna, ciao. How's quarantine and world disaster treating you? Still good, no point to complain. How are you? So she gives a pretty standard girl response. Alright, just finished a podcast with my sex coach friend on sexuality and dominance. About to work out now. So this is me in a very natural and smooth kind of way, segueing towards a much bigger sexual DHV. When she reads this, she'll most likely be thinking, okay, is this guy a pro or something? Why is he in a sex podcast? Why is he talking about sexuality and dominance? And also, by adding the line about to work out now, I am making the whole thing just sound that much more casual. She writes, interesting, any fun facts I should be aware of, but I'm not probably? So you can see my previous DHV here created some curiosity. Now she's a little bit intrigued and a little bit more invested than a couple of messages ago. So now is a good opportunity to show a lot more value. It really depends on what level you're at. One big mistake that guys make is treating how a girl orgasms like the way they do, when in reality it's much more about the emotions and mental part of things for girls. You need both, mental and physical techniques. She needs to be extremely relaxed yet super turned on, and the guy needs to know what he's doing. So here I'm further reinforcing the perception of me as a sexual authority. There's many ways to achieve this, and one of them is to demonstrate a lot of knowledge when it comes to having good sex. This means that you don't want to say anything that she will disagree with, which will hurt your image of a sexual authority. Here, as you can see, I connect with a pain point, that is that guys treat women orgasming the same way that guys orgasm. And this gives her the feeling of being understood. And then I further show more sexual authority by talking about how much more it's about emotions and the mental part of things for girls. And every single girl will agree with this. And by being able to so clearly and so confidently articulate all these things in such a succinct fashion, I'm implying that I am all of these things. She writes, it's all correct. Can I ask you a question? So I bait for permission to sexualize. This is a good way to increase the amount of compliance that you will receive after you ask the question. Yes. How many orgasms do you normally have? In retrospect, this might be an over-escalation. It probably was, considering how she responded afterwards as well. Is this in scientific purposes? No, just curious. Then I'm not answering. I don't discuss that aspect of my life with my friends. So here, her last message, I don't discuss that aspect of my life with my friends, actually has many implied meanings behind it. It's framing me as the seducer, it's framing her as the prize, and it's framing me as uncalibrated and a little bit too intense. Now, I doubt she's doing this consciously, but these subtle frames are there. So instead of apologizing, you want to reframe the situation. Let's look at my response here. That's cool. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm just used to more sexually confident girls. I think sex is a perfectly healthy and an okay topic to discuss, but some people carry a lot of shame around sex. So instead of apologizing, I reframe the situation to be about me used to more sexually confident girls. This implies that she's probably carrying some sort of sexual shame, which is why she's uncomfortable talking about it. She's going to want to fight against this frame because no one wants to be framed that way. And by saying didn't mean to offend you, I'm showing a little bit of empathy, but I know that she's not offended. So this too will incentivize her to fight against these negative frames. So she's going to want to fight against the frame that she's offended because she's not. And then secondly, she's gonna want to fight against the frame that she's not sexually confident, which is implied. She writes, not offended, and I think it's a normal part of life, so we can discuss in general, just not about me. You can see here, I get the compliance. Now, what would have happened if I apologized and backtracked? Who knows? But here, she gives permission to continue sexualizing. Sure, if you feel uncomfortable, I have another question for you. Shoot. Do you like it when a guy's dominant in bed? And in relationship too. I'm an independent girl, but in partnership he has to wear pants. What is your opinion on the matter? So at the time I wasn't exactly sure what she meant by this, but I know that this would be the absolute wrong moment to just respond, what do you mean? Or can you clarify? Because this would give an abrupt interrupt to my extremely assertive authoritative, dominant image so far. So I want to the best of my ability, just understand and assume the meaning of her words. So I write, I'm not sure if I understand you. Do you mean you like a man who is a man, who can take charge and lead, and has a sense of direction? So in this text, I basically presume that her last text meant that she wants a man who is a man. So here, I list qualities of her ideal man. And keep in mind that she must agree with everything I say here, otherwise it will not work nearly as well. And this gives her the feeling of being understood, and it also implies that I am this person who is her type. Absolutely, I prefer masculine man in all aspects of life. To be honest, I can see that. You kind of remind me of the girls I usually go for, TBH. You're confident and strong-minded, and girls like this usually intimidate weak men. Some guys probably think you're bitchy or rude, but you actually have a very sweet and submissive side with the right guy, but you're selective with who you open up to. So here I am cold reading her archetype, and this is a universal archetype that can be said about all confident, slightly sassy girls. Because all confident, slightly sassy girls around the world also intimidate weak men. And honestly, 99% of them also have a sweet, submissive side that they only show to the one dominant guy who can tame them. In the BDSM world, they're called brats. So brats, a lot of times, will purposely act up so to challenge the guy in front of them to be dominant, to be a man. So by showing her that I have an understanding of her archetype, I am implying that I am the type of guy who tames these bratty girls. So this will further create that feeling of a connection. All correct. Again, I hope not much people think I'm bitchy because I express my opinions very politely in Serbian. But do you sometimes offend people, especially people who get offended easily? I love girls with a strong personality and some sassiness, by the way, winky face. So with the first text, I'm further trying to connect with her on this archetype, which in retrospect I think may be a little bit redundant because I already said it before and there's no point repeating it. But in the second text, I'm showing that I have standards. And by showing that I have standards, this implies that I have an abundance of girls in my life, that I can afford to have standards. Because guys who don't get girls don't have standards. Ha 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 ha, you were reading my bio. What's your bio? She sends me a screenshot of a bio. Isn't it called a bio? Oh, right. Oh, nah, I could just tell from your vibe. Good, I like to vibrate like that. I know exactly how to make you vibrate. Laughing emoji times 3. Sorry, I had to. What do you think of Serbian guys? So I would say this is actually a slight mistake on my part. I shouldn't have apologized for making a sexual joke like that here, especially after I've demonstrated so much value. The girl most likely would have responded very positively to it. But my thought process at the time was that I didn't want to get off track with everything that was good, that was building on the interaction that I was doing here. And I wanted to get back on topic. So I asked, what do you think of Serbian guys? Totally my fault and my turn for questions. And exactly my question. Your opinion of Serbian girls? Now, anytime a girl asks you a question, and especially a question as juicy as this one, it's an opportunity to set a lot of good frames and show a lot of value. I love them. Definitely my top 3 on the list. Very open-minded and fun. Always a good sense of humor. I think they love Asian guys? Question mark. I was told at least. So by saying that I love them, it implies that I had an amazing time with Serbian girls, so most likely they like me as well. And by saying definitely my top 3 on the list, when most guys who are talking to her are saying that Serbian girls are number 1 because of how beautiful they are, and by saying their top 3 on my list, only top 3, I'm implying that I most likely have experienced a wide variety of women. And then also by saying top 3, that will get her curious about who the other 2 are. More opportunities to DHV. Very open-minded and fun. So I'm framing these traits as positive traits. I think they love Asian guys? Question mark. I was told at least. So here I'm further reinforcing the fact that Serbian girls loved me, even though they don't particularly have a thing for Asian guys. And you can see that it worked here. Well, they probably liked you, she responded. Tell me the other 2 on top of the list. Are you saying they don't like my brothers? Just a little bit of humor. I like Latinas and Russians. Sexy, submissive, feminine. Strong personality. So overall, this is a high value answer because these ethnicities of women are some of the world's most beautiful women, according to majority of people in the Western civilized world. And by putting these 2 ethnicities on the top of my list, I'm implying that I most likely have had experience with them and they most likely like me a lot as well. And here I take this opportunity to set some good frames. I write sexy, submissive, feminine, strong personality. So I write sexy because I want the interaction to be sexual. I write submissive, implying that I am a dominant guy, which I am. Feminine, implying that I like a feminine woman. And when I write strong personality, it's to deal with the objection that some girls with strong personalities have. Guys want a girl who just follows and doesn't have a personality. And by putting strong personality and feminine and submissive together, I'm showing that they're not mutually exclusive and I like all of them. Ha 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 ha, you definitely have a type. And your type of guys? No idea, only ever dated Serbs, although Arabs look intriguing. Very interesting. So the conversation actually continued over the next couple of days, but this is a good example of how I turned an interaction that was going nowhere to a highly sexual interaction where the girl perceives me as the shit because of the type of value that I've demonstrated to her. And yo, thank you so much for watching. If you're still here with us at the end of the video, make sure you join my Facebook group. There's honestly so much more exclusive premium content that you're not gonna be able to find anywhere else on the internet. So I hope to see you there. But otherwise, do consider checking out my other videos as well. I'm gonna do this now. You click on this video or this one, or click the subscribe button right here. But yeah guys, I'll see you next time.